The day my wife walked out of our house, she didn't even look back. She stood at the door with her suitcase, arms crossed, staring at me like I was a stranger. "I'm leaving," she said, just like that. No hesitation, no guilt. And then she said the words that made my chest tighten. "I'm moving in with Daniel." Daniel, my boss, the man I worked for, the man who had been coming to our house for dinner, the man who used to shake my hand and thank me for being such a loyal employee. My wife didn't even try to hide it. She smiled, actually smiled, like she had just won something. "You should be grateful," she added. "Daniel can give me the life you never could." At that moment, I felt like everything I had built was collapsing. My marriage, my career, my dignity, all gone in one night. But what neither of them knew was that I had been keeping a secret for years. And when that secret finally came out, their perfect little love story turned into a nightmare. Before everything fell apart, I thought my life was simple. Maybe not perfect, but stable. My name is Marcus. I had been married to my wife Rachel for 7 years. We met in our late 20s at a mutual friend's birthday party. Rachel was magnetic, the kind of woman who walked into a room and immediately became the center of attention. Long dark hair, sharp wit, confident in a way that made people listen whenever she spoke. I was the opposite, quiet, analytical, the type of person who preferred working behind the scenes. But somehow we balanced each other out. Or at least, that's what I believed back then. Rachel loved excitement, fancy restaurants, expensive vacations, new clothes. She always had big dreams. And in the beginning, I tried my best to give her everything she wanted. But my career didn't exactly move as fast as she hoped. I worked as a financial analyst at a mid-sized investment firm. The job was stable, reliable, but it wasn't glamorous. And that's where Daniel came in. Daniel Whitmore was the CEO of the firm. 42 years old, charismatic, confident, the type of man who could walk into a room and immediately command attention. People admired him, feared him, and most importantly, wanted to be like him. He drove luxury cars, owned multiple houses, and seemed to have the kind of wealth most people only dreamed about. Rachel was fascinated by him. I noticed it the first time she met him. Daniel had come to our house for dinner with a few colleagues. Rachel spent the entire evening laughing at his jokes, asking him questions, listening carefully every time he spoke. At the time, I didn't think much of it. After all, Daniel had that effect on everyone. But looking back now, I realized that night was the beginning of everything. Over the next year, something started changing in my marriage. Rachel began complaining more about everything. Our house, our car, my job. "You're too comfortable," she said once. "You don't push yourself." I tried to explain that stability wasn't a bad thing, but Rachel didn't see it that way. She wanted more money, more status, more excitement. And then Daniel started appearing in our lives more often. Work dinners, corporate events, company parties. Every time Rachel saw him, her eyes lit up. And slowly, I started noticing the way Daniel looked at her too. It was subtle, small smiles, long conversations, inside jokes I didn't understand. But again, I ignored it, because when you trust someone completely, your brain refuses to believe the worst. The truth came out on a rainy Thursday night. I had just finished dinner when Rachel sat across from me at the table. Her expression was calm, almost rehearsed. "We need to talk," she said. Those 4 words are never a good sign. I waited. Then she said it. "I'm not happy." My stomach dropped. "Rachel." She raised her hand to stop me. "I've been thinking about this for a while." Then she took a deep breath. "I'm in love with someone else." For a moment, I thought I had misheard her. But then she said his name. Daniel. My boss. What happened next felt unreal. Rachel didn't cry, didn't apologize, didn't even look ashamed. Instead, she explained everything like it was a business transaction. "We've been seeing each other for 6 months. 6 months. 6 months of lies. 6 months of pretending everything was normal. Daniel wants me to move in with him," she said. "And I'm going." Just like that. 7 years of marriage ended in one conversation. But what hurt the most wasn't the betrayal. It was what she said next. "You should have known this would happen." I stared at her. "What does that mean?" Rachel leaned back in her chair. "You're a good man, Marcus," she said, "but Daniel is on another level." Then she smiled. And that smile was colder than anything I had ever seen. The next day at work was worse than I imagined. Everyone already knew. Apparently, Daniel hadn't bothered keeping the relationship secret. People whispered when I walked by. Some avoided eye contact. Others stared, like I was some kind of tragic story unfolding in real time. Daniel didn't even pretend to be ashamed. He called me into his office, closed the door, and gave me a sympathetic look. "Marcus, I know this must be difficult." I clenched my fists. "You knew she was my wife." Daniel sighed. "Relationships are complicated." Then he leaned forward. "But this doesn't have to affect your career." The arrogance in his voice made my stomach turn. He thought he was doing me a favor, letting me keep my job, letting me continue working under the man who had taken my wife. But I said nothing, because in that moment, I realized something important. They thought they had already won. Rachel moved into Daniel's penthouse 2 days later. Social media made sure everyone knew. Photos of champagne dinners, luxury vacations, designer dresses, comments from friends congratulating them. Power couple. Goals. I watched it all quietly. And the more I watched, the clearer something became. Rachel believed Daniel was rich enough to give her everything she wanted. Daniel believed Rachel had upgraded his life. But both of them were wrong, because there was something neither of them knew. Something I had never told anyone. 5 years earlier, my grandfather had passed away. Most people thought he was just a retired accountant. Quiet, unassuming. But what nobody knew was that he had built a massive investment portfolio. Before he died, he left everything to me. But there was a condition. The money was locked in a trust, and it wouldn't become publicly accessible until I turned 35, which happened to be 3 months away. By the time Rachel left me, the trust was already worth over $40 million. I had never told her, because I wanted someone to love me for who I was, not for what I had. And now, the woman who left me for money had just walked away from a fortune she never knew existed. 3 months later, everything changed. A financial magazine published a feature article about the trust. Quiet analyst revealed as heir to $40 million investment fund. Suddenly everyone knew, including Rachel. She showed up at my door the next day, crying, apologizing, saying she had made a terrible mistake. But something inside me had changed. The pain she caused had turned into clarity. "I loved you once," I told her, "but the woman I loved would never have left." Rachel tried to argue, tried to explain, but it was too late. Meanwhile, Daniel's company began facing financial trouble. Investors were already nervous about his leadership. But when the scandal around our divorce and his relationship with Rachel became public, several major clients walked away. The board lost confidence. Within a year, Daniel Whitmore was forced to resign. The man who once controlled everything lost it all. Looking back now, I understand something I didn't back then. Betrayal has a strange way of revealing the truth. Rachel didn't leave because I failed. She left because she believed someone else had more to offer. And Daniel didn't steal my life. He exposed the kind of person Rachel truly was. Sometimes losing everything is the only way to discover what actually matters. And in my case, the people who betrayed me didn't destroy my life. They simply removed themselves from it. And that turned out to be the greatest gift they could have given me.